Perfect Perth against winless Adelaide. How will undefeated go at home against a team desperate to break through? Not often a round starts with a game in Perth, but with a busy Sunday pitting 4 matches and 8 teams against each other, it's Perth and Adelaide that get things started at Macedonia Park on your Saturday night. Crowd slowly building here as Perth Glory welcome Liz Anton, the New Zealand international, into the starting 11 as the only change, with youngster Grace Johnston going to the bench. Quinley Quezada returns among the subs as well, the Philippines World Cup player, meaning no Sarah Kane this week. Otherwise, it's 10 of the 11 starters that were victorious in Canberra last weekend. Adelaide United also make one change. Nanako Sasaki is in for the first time this season. Rosetta Taylor and Annie Haffenden drop to the bench. Amelia Murray drops out of the matchday squad. Teams making their way out onto the pitch. Adelaide in their away white kit for this one with red shorts, and Perth Glory in their customary home purple for this one. It is Remembrance Day this weekend, particularly today, and we are going to join a bit of the pre-match observance ceremony.
Remembrance Day, a day of national commemoration where we pause in silence for a moment to remember the bravery and sacrifice of the men and women who lost their lives while serving Australia and its allies in wars, conflicts and peacekeeping operations. If you're able, could you please stand for a moment's silence?
And with the pre-match ceremony observed, Perth Glory, their defence has been one of the stories of the season. It's hard to believe that Claudia Miocic is making just her 6th appearance tonight. It's been part of this defensive unit that has helped the Perth Glory spring to 3 wins from 3 to start the season. Win tonight, and they are guaranteed to finish round 4 top of the league. No one would be able to match 4 wins from 4 to start the campaign. Nanako Sasaki has been ever present for Adelaide United the last 2 years. 31 appearances and 2 goals, but laid low by injury. And you can see, well, the strapping has actually been taken off. It was on in pre-game. So maybe, oh, no, there it is. It's definitely still there. Just the sock has been pulled right up. But you see on the right leg, there is quite a bit of bandaging. It was always the plan to bring Sasaki back for this week in particular. Wasn't going to make it back first week after the international break, but second week up, round 4, she's back, and Adelaide will be hoping she's back to her best. There's Alex Aparkis. Perth Glory enjoy a great head-to-head record against Adelaide. 13 wins, 3 draws, 9 losses, 42 goals to 32. Adelaide, in more recent times, have closed the gap. Perth historically have been the dominant team in this fixture. Tonight's officiating crew will be led by Georgia Ghirardello, who is picking up the ball in the centre of your screen. Assistants Danielle Anderson and Amber Morris, and the 4th official is Shane Skinner. And there's Adrian Stenter, Adelaide United's coach, still looking for that first win in his full-time role, of course. Stenter is a previous Coach of the Year winner for Adelaide United. But this year he signed a new deal, making him the club's first permanent full-time coach of the women's program. Tash Rigby, the Perth captain there, always fantastic at hyping her team up. And you see the number 23 there, Alana Janchevsky, hoping to come back and haunt her former team, as is the number 6, Hannah Blake. Both of them were Perth Glory players last season. I'm sure they'll have a point to prove, and maybe that's what that wry smile is all about. left back. Perth Glory quick to win back possession though. Morgan Aquino, their starting keeper tonight. And Liz Anton, the New Zealand international, hitting the ball down the left-hand line. Battle for possession ensues, and unable to keep it in was Zoe Tolland. And so Anton, vastly experienced New Zealand football fern, just trying to grab another 20 metres or so, and Ella Tonkin clears the ball away from another Kiwi connection, Grace Jale. There is a swirly wind. If anything, it's going across the ground from near your screens to the opposite side of the ground. Here's Liz Anton with the wind at her back, dashing into the penalty area, but left the ball behind for Ella Tonkin to clear. Blake ducked under the ball. Jessica Cowett moving it on to Hannah Lowry, but Mariah Lee bustling through, winning a foul, advantage given, and now Hannah Blake trying to come back and haunt her former side. Blake with a drifter, and it was neither a cross nor a shot in the end, and held on to by Morgan Aquino. Aquino with a tumbling clearance that had no real distance. Here's Nanako Sasaki, but dispossessed almost immediately. Busy first 2.5 minutes as these teams try to set the tone. Adelaide will not be happy about being winless through the first 3 games of the campaign. They could make a big statement here tonight with a win. Here's Hodgson breaking into space. The Perth defence caught out. All about the quality of the delivery. A little bit of a gentle header. Lee is there and nearly got to the ball before Aquino. And ultimately the Perth Glory goalkeeper prevails and collapses onto the ball, but not before a few raised pulses in that Glory defence. They need a cool head here, and Jessica Cowett is going to find a teammate in Millie Farrow, and that's a very neat pass down the line for Perth to get themselves out of defensive trouble. No walking. That's the shout from the sideline from Alex Aparkas. He wants the intensity up and the tempo high. Errant pass here. Sasaki trying to create for Adelaide, and jumping out to make amends immediately. Miocic on the ball, slides it neatly through to Farrow. Perth on the move. That's a really nice textbook tackle in midfield. Adelaide looking to repel. Ambitious volley on by Anton. Didn't quite strike it the way she would have hoped, and so Tolland can intercept. Lee caught on a 1-on-2. Lowry capitalises, plays it into space. Grace Jale, keep it backtracking here. Jale is through for Perth. Grace Jale! Good goalkeeping from Grove initially. Now Farrow, still yet to score for the Glory, and it's blocked away by the defender. Keeper out of the equation. Marushka Waldes is able to keep the game at 0-0. And the English import, Millie Farrow, might have been forgiven for thinking, and that should have been goal number 1 in Perth Glory purple. It was excellent goalkeeping from Annalie Grove initially to dive down at the feet of Grace Jale. You saw that pass from Lowry out into space, good vision. And Jale at this point, just trying to get the step right to shoot, decided to go round the keeper late perhaps. And then Farrow here, jinks past, beats the keeper, but well played, good body positioning from Waldes to avoid giving away a handball, blocked it away with the left leg. And that is an early get out of jail for Adelaide and a sign of what Perth can do. Now Adelaide sensed the opportunity to press at the other end and try to apply some heat to the Glory. Sakalis made to backtrack and retrieve the ball. Anton shows the ball to Lee, and Lee says, I'll take it from you. Now it's there to be won in midfield. Really combative early in this one. And that's fantastic midfield work by Sarah Morgan, keeping Adelaide in possession. Maybe maybe that early scare will give Adelaide a bit more confidence as Ella Tonkin is nearly pickpocketed by Farrow, who's buzzing around in the forward line, and Lowry is able to win possession. Farrow, decision time, tries to take on the defence single-handedly, and Wallis knocks it away. Now Lee into open space, end-to-end at the moment. Second attempt at the pass. Now Blake. Hannah Blake, edge of the box, decides to shoot, and it's an early tester for Morgan Aquino, who's able to dive down and hold on to the save. Shots on target at both ends. It's worth remembering that Adelaide drew 4-4 with Canberra United back in round 1 of this season. Last weekend against Melbourne Victory was a 2-0 loss, the only time out of the first 3 games that they failed to score. They will be keen to make amends. Sakalis played Lowry into trouble, but Lowry was deft with the touch to keep the ball moving, and so Perth are away. Farrow has broken in the middle. Jale finds her for the goal! But Farrow ran offside. And that first Glory goal still won't come for the number 9. Thumbs up to Jale, but, well, the striker's instincts maybe abandoned Millie Farrow there because she ran offside. We'll have another look here. And even on this angle to the naked eye, the initial ball over the top is fine, but Farrow there's out in front of the ball, out in front of Jale. And even though the finish was good, Adelaide's defence were onto it in a flash, as was the assistant referee, Amber Morris. So one desperate stop by a defender, one goal chalked off for offside. It's been Perth's first 10 minutes here, albeit with Adelaide showing signs that they've come to play tonight. And Sasaki's going to be key to that, taking on Lowry here. Dylan Holmes. To the encouragement of the coach on the sideline, Adrian Stenter. Needing to play in midfield between Morgan and Sasaki. What a difference Sasaki has already made to the Adelaide combination. Here's Lee. And it's going to be the first corner of the game as Liz Anton deflects it behind. Well, you wouldn't know that Sarah Morgan was new to Adelaide this year, or that Nanako Sasaki was playing her first game of the campaign. The way those two linked up in the build-up there. So first corner of the game for either team. It goes Adelaide's way. And even though it was first head for Lee, the diminutive forward was knocked off her feet by the impact of the ball. The referee's seen an infringement here, and it's going to be a restart for the Glory to get them out of defence. Aquino saw Sakalis and picked her out with a very sharp pass, but Sakalis unable to keep the ball moving, and Adelaide able to close ranks. See the possession stats starting to take shape through 10 minutes of action so far. Adelaide with a bit more of the ball, but Perth with the better chances so far in the game. Wallace's pass asking a lot of Hodgson, who lunged out but couldn't keep possession. So Hodgson, who is closing in on 100 games, injury-free and form permitting, should reach the milestone this season. Tonight's appearance number 84 for the 23-year-old. Here's Lowry, playing the ball back to Jessica Cowan. Sophia Sakalis. It's noticeable that she's been able to get herself isolated in space so far tonight in midfield. Here's a battle for possession now between Alana Janchevsky and Tash Rigby. Of course, Janchevsky was at the Glory last season, and Rigby is able to come away winning the foul. Scored just her second A-League women's goal last weekend, Tash Rigby, in the win away to Canberra. Tonight is appearance number 98 as well, so they are rarities. Goals for the right back. You can see Adelaide feel as though they can get their foot on the ball, but Perth Glory at the moment appear to have just a little bit more attacking menace about them when they launch forward. Miocic, long ball, case in point. Farrow, good first touch, but then showed too much of it to Walders, who just kicks for territory. Lowry immediately pressured by Dylan Holmes. Perth not afraid to play the odd risky pass. You know, a bit of dare to try and move the ball up the pitch. Big block tackle in midfield. Lowry clips that one out to the right, and that just has a little bit too much on it. I did mention pre-game that the wind is going, if anything, across the ground. And so that one maybe caught the breeze. Here's Sarah Morgan. Tonkin, a pass that presented the ball to Farrow, but she slid in, couldn't stop it reaching its intended target in Sasaki. And so Adelaide recover possession. It's a constant narrative coming from Alex Aparkas out of his technical area. Team instructions, divisional instructions, individuals as well. You heard him instructing Grace Jarley when to start the press. Of course, these sort of team organisation things, a huge focus of the modern game now. When to press, when to back off, what situations to identify as when to really hunt the ball, and when to capitalise, which is exactly what Perth have done. Jarley, and now the runners are breaking through the right side. Sakalis, just caught behind in the middle, and so the ball is booted away. Coward leans into the header. Miocic able to control the bouncing ball. Nicely done by Cassidy. And the ball goes up the tunnel, but the ball kids are sharp here at Macedonia Park. One of many reasons why the Glory are undefeated in their last 7 here. Now the throw-in can take place. Farrow back to Rigby. So a fun first 15 minutes of this one, but still waiting for a goal. Adelaide will be hoping they've weathered the storm. Perth will be hoping they're just working through the gears. Sakalis to Farrow, who's been a thorn in the side of Adelaide already. Tonkin can't take the ball off her. Perth stay on the attack. Anton, Jarley's header. Couldn't put it on target. And Grace Jarley, just the one career goal against Adelaide United back when she was wearing the colours of Wellington Phoenix. This combination that's building with her and Millie Farrow. It's worth remembering that even though Farrow hasn't scored, 3 assists so far this season, leading the league. Grace Jarley, 2 goals. Zoe Toland, long ball. Blake, outpointed by Coward. Lowry, back to Miocic. Again, a risky pass, but it works. Perth's combinations, they knew exactly where their teammates were waiting. Now Rigby on the right, as Adelaide try to close ranks. They can't get the ball off them. All the way back to the last line in Morgan Aquino. And that shove from Susan Fonson Cam, just a little overzealous. And that's the last thing Adelaide will want to see. Nanako Sasaki is staying down hurt. It's her first game back from an injury that caused her to miss the first 3 games of the campaign. She's just catching her breath here. She'll dust herself off, and well, this season she's going to have competition for free kicks, because last season she was pretty much the unquestioned dead ball specialist. This year Alana Janchevski has arrived. Saw the foul there. Here is Janchevski dropping the ball at the edge of the area. A bit of byplay off the ball there, but the referee didn't take an interest. Here's Cassidy, the youngster entrusted with the crossfield ball. Tolland came in to intercept. Lee just decelerated before taking possession, and so has to wheel away back to Tolland. Here's Walters. The Dutch national, Marushka Walters, has called Australia home for a number of years now. Hodgson. Sasaki clips it over the top, but Rigby is better positioned. Hodgson again, Janchevski, Sasaki. Neat little passing triangle from Adelaide. Can they take it into the attacking penalty area, though? Crunching slide challenge coming out. Uncompromising stuff from Miocic. And it's behind for a goal kick. So Glory able to defend there, but just watch at the bottom of your screens here. Marushka Walters, the number 19. Bit of a tangle of legs there with the much shorter Claudia Miocic. I don't think Georgia Ghirardello was going to pay a penalty or anything like that, but the byplay off the ball, there's always something going on. You've got to have eyes in the back of your head as a referee. That's why they give you a couple of assistants on the sidelines. The play continues now with Adelaide looking to attack. Maybe they have weathered the Perth storm. Now they can start to build some attacking patterns of their own. Here comes Rigby. Able to win possession away. Jale outpointed though at the fall of the ball. And Hodgson goes back to Annalee Grove. So the game is settled into a bit of a pattern now. Adelaide will feel as though they're controlling possession. Glory perhaps absorb and counter, at least for the moment. Cassidy to Lowry. Given away. Mariah Lee. Under-hit the pass just a little though. Blake outpointed by Cowart, who then coughs it straight back up to Dylan Holmes. Teasing ball into the box. Sarah Morgan arrived after a bounce. Janchevski will want to free that left foot, goes to ground. And you see the body language of Georgia Ghirardello waved the arm to say, get up. And so now Perth Glory counter-attack. Sophia Sakalis being pursued in earnest by Mariah Lee, and ultimately overzealous, giving away the foul. End-to-end stuff once again. Dylan Holmes running down to Georgia Ghirardello to perhaps argue that Alana Janchevski's claim for a penalty was a good one. Janchevski herself making the case too. Let's have another look. Morgan recycled the ball up to the top of the box. Janchevski, well, I think that would be a very harsh penalty had it been paid due to primarily the lack of contact. Play continues. Ball into the box. It's going to sit up here teasingly on the tight angle. Well, Tash Rigby goals are collector's items. That could have been 2 in consecutive games, but ultimately sent high and wide. And the right back, who's not afraid to get forward, just didn't have her shooting boots on there. Sasaki. Possession turned over this time. Gets another chance, but off the head. Sakalis is there. Pretty clean game so far. Just the 4 fouls through about a quarter of the night's action. Miocic. Jarley not able to make ground. Hodgson wins the initial header. Fonson Cam following up. Coward sees Jarley trying to break off the last defender. Bit of a floater. Jarley made a contest and now tries to use her strength to push her way through, but did so illegally. Adelaide players going down one after another. And the captain, the number 16 there, Dylan Holmes, is coming over just to make the case. Look at that. It's a war zone out there for these players. Look at them strewn across the ground. Tonkin and also Hodgson. So here's the initial challenge. Walrus went down, and then Jarley tried to barge through. Farrow had a nibble. And perhaps the most worrying one there is Ella Tonkin, because she missed a lot of last season with a foot injury, and she might have taken a blow to the foot there. Trainer hasn't been called out just yet, though. Tonkin hobbles away. Ella Tonkin still very early in her A-League women's career. Just appearance number 20 tonight for the 20-year-old. Scored her first career goal against the Central Coast back at Hindmarsh Stadium a couple of weeks ago, but definitely looking to string together a full season of action as a starter after missing so much of last campaign with that foot injury. All's well that ends well. Adelaide players fit, ready to continue. Perth Glory ready to reload and go again. Fonson Cam's turn to win a free kick. Just starting to get a little bit tetchy now. See that Fonson Cam took on 3 midfielders. And the attack for Perth is going to result in a corner kick. Liz Anton not afraid to get forward. Also a pretty decent aerial threat as well. She's playing left back to start this game, but certainly experienced playing as a centre back. As she's going to line up inside the 6-yard box here. Jarley the tallest target, Jessica Cowart, Liz Anton, lots of players for the 19-year-old Georgia Cassidy to aim for with this corner kick. Right into the mixer it goes, and a good defensive header away by Sasaki. Janchevski starts a counter-attack. Put the pass out in front of Blake. Now Sarah Morgan. Shouts coming from the middle. Holmes able to keep it moving, but not enough juice on the pass. And the offside flag may have had a say in it too. Indeed it did. Adelaide midfield engaged. Now they start to chase the ball, so Perth retreat all the way back to the goalkeeper. Just looking for a gap that's to their liking here, Glory. Now out of a tight space, Rigby, first touch wasn't quite there for her. The attempted clearance presents Adelaide the ball. Blake, well, straight back to Cassidy, so a short-lived attack on that occasion. And now Fonson Cam. Blocked away by Sasaki. It's a little scrappy from both teams at the moment. And perhaps, fortunately, Lowry is able to buy a foul. And that'll give Perth the chance to calm down just a little, because that block there from Sasaki Well, a fresh air swing from Dylan Holmes. Missed the ball. Caught Hannah Lowry instead. Here's Miocic to Sakalis, all off the toe of the boot. Not the contact she needed to keep it moving to her team's advantage. Sarah Morgan to Sasaki. Neat little turn, loses one opponent, and now distributed out to the left. Hannah Blake off and moving. Not much to aim for in the box, though. It's all purple shirts for now. Not much by way of support arriving either, so Adelaide go back and reposition their team ahead of the ball. Walters with the long ball this time. Straight onto the head of Rigby. Home fans like the Perth Glory defence standing and being able to respond. They'll get a new test here in the form of Lee. Jessica Coward has the answers. Here's Sasaki. Holmes. Janchevsky hoping to meet the run all the way up from left back of Hodgson, but ultimately the ball wins the race to the sideline. Pass here is going to put real heat on Anton, but ultimately in a battle of Kiwis is able to hold off Hannah Blake. See the ball out for a goal kick. So as we approach half an hour, the tempo is just simmered down for a minute or two. Game remains scoreless. And a mistake could be exactly the thing that opens the door. Blake. Tolland. And Farrow caught Sasaki illegally, says the referee. Tonkin appears to have shaken off the ill effects of that knock about 5 minutes ago. Moving freely once again. Perth a little bit slow to move their midfield up on this occasion. Happy just to give Adelaide a bit of space to pass the ball around their defence. Sasaki keeps it moving. Lee, and now the tempo rises for Adelaide. Holmes breaking through the left, lifts the ball in, and if the ambitions were for Hannah Blake, Morgan Aquino stopped the ball from ever arriving. Sophia Sakalis coming back in the other direction. And that applause is coming from the Adelaide sideline, where Perth, attempting to counter-attack at speed, didn't lead to a forward foray. Jessica Coward might be able to fashion one here, though. Long ball up the middle. Jale trying to get in behind Tonkin. On the tight angle with it all to do here, Grace Jale. And a deflected shot is swallowed by Annalie Grove. Fonson-Camp. Perhaps of all the Perth creative players or midfielders, the one that wants to get into the game just a little bit more. He's already come up with a couple of very important goals for Perth Glory this season, scoring against Western United and the only goal of the game in the 1-0 win against Newcastle. Here's Lowry. Forward goes Anton and just hits the ball a little square. Advantage goalkeeper. Bit of a risky throw in here. Aquino with Blake in the vicinity. Now Miocic back to where the throw in came from. Rigby and Perth had complete trust in each other there to play a couple of sharp passes into their defensive penalty area, and now Adelaide drop off. It's perhaps lacking the relentless pressing of the first 10 to 15 minutes or so. Both teams understandably not able to maintain that tempo for an entire match. You hear the shout there, 5 seconds or less. That's Tash Rigby's voice carrying across the pitch from right back. Now as the ball deflects on, Aquino lured out of her penalty area and has to sweep the leg just to get a bit of distance on the clearance. Off the head of Morgan. Now Sasaki. Lee. Not many options here for Mariah Lee. In fact, there was only one. Blake on the right side. Again, lots of purple defenders in the penalty area. Blake's low cross. Found Holmes in space. And the shot is teed up for Janchevski. Well worked by Adelaide. And a couple of their better technicians there in Dylan Holmes and Alani Janchevski linked up in the box. But ultimately the shot couldn't get the better of Morgan Aquino. It's persistence from Blake and then that touch there from Holmes. Janchevski, the instincts to shoot first time, but just couldn't stretch the keeper. And that will encourage Adelaide that they were able to find a way through a very crowded Perth Glory defence. Just needed a better finishing touch. A lot to like about how Adelaide have played so far. It's worth remembering they did not take a shot on goal at Amy Park last Saturday against Melbourne Victory, while conceding 13 the other way, 2 of them ending up in the back of the net. So as far as starting the game a lot more competitively and with a bit more attacking ambition, it's been a significant change on a week ago. The Adelaide fans will be happy about that. Here's Fonson-Cam. Now Rigby. Long ball down the line. And Walden's not taking any risks there, just turns to the safety of the sideline rather than attempting a back pass. Fonson-Cam battling down in the corner against Sasaki. Ten minutes of regulation time to go in this first half. Last time they met back in March was actually Fiona Wirtz who scored the decisive goal for Adelaide. See the passing accuracy there so far. Both teams pushing up towards 80, which is a pretty good level. Possession coughed up. Morgan. Holmes had some Carlos to deal with, so went back to Morgan. And now sends a pass that'll draw Hodgson forward. Not effectively, though. Lowry, long diagonal ball. What a great lunge from Waldes initially, but no one was there amongst her teammates to swoop on the loose ball. Jale was. And now Rigby with a deflected cross. Fonson-Cam can be so dangerous in that territory near the edge of the box. Cassidy to Lowry. Lowry thinks about a long shot, drives, and it requires a save. Grove was perhaps caught on the left side of the goal there and showed too much net to Hannah Lowry. And so she went for it, and it took a full-length dive to parry the ball away. Lowry, the quick head check. Yep, the long shot's on. And Grove successfully down to it. Farrow ultimately winning a corner for Perth Glory, but it's this player here, Hannah Lowry, with the long shot, which has stung the palms of Adelaide Grove in the Adelaide goal. Big moment here in the first half. Glory corner. Lots of players congregated at the near post. Ball falls centrally. Holmes, header initially, and then Farrow hooked the ball well wide with the attempted volley. You can hear the shouting from the sideline. Alex Apakis wants his team to try and press and trap Adelaide in defence. Nanako Sasaki, not the press breaker on this occasion. Sakalis, Farrow, Jale accelerating, second to the ball. And Ella Tonkin ultimately made it work with her goalkeeper, Annalie Grove. I think Jale maybe just once bitten, twice shy with that earlier offside decision. Just caught on her heels there. See both teams not afraid to get into the channels out wide and swing the ball in. 16 total crosses in the game. Here's Tolland flicking the ball on. Holmes can't get the better of Cassidy, and in comes Anton for Perth. Miocic. And the tackle from behind here from Sasaki knocks over Fonson Cam. Here's another look. Attempted incisive pass from Miocic, but Sasaki's presence, I should say, sent Fonson Cam back before conceding the foul. Here's Jale from the tight angle. Foot save coming from the goalkeeper, and Holmes sweeps it away. Those can deflect anywhere. It fell kindly for Adelaide, and they keep the 0-0 scoreline intact. Feels as though Perth Glory are starting to work through the gears once again. Sensing the moment to really squeeze Adelaide in their defence. Rigby round the corner. Fonson Cam breaking into the box. Good close control. Ball glued to her feet, and then Sasaki was able to knock it away. Fonson Cam back in for more. Rigby with the first time cross. Farrow underneath the boots. Well, the Glory will feel as though there's a goal coming, but they just need to take that decisive final touch. This was great control initially from Fonson Cam, and then even though Sasaki got in the way, she was able to go back for seconds, and then it just got the better of both attackers on the end of that cross. Big 5 minutes of regulation coming up at the end of the first half. Tash Rigby is starting to live in the attacking half for the Glory here, creating overloads down that right flank. Adelaide need to be resilient in their defence. A counter-attack would be just the tonic to hold Perth accountable at the other end. Instead, they're effectively defending with the ball here. Perth's press was causing them a few issues, but Adelaide deep enough here just to enjoy some uncontested possession. And now they play themselves into trouble. Holmes able to wrestle the ball back. Morgan. Blake on the turn out to the left. And good one-on-one defending from Rigby, able to turn the ball away from Holmes. Janchevsky. Cassidy right on her case, but that's going to be a corner kick for Adelaide. And again, you see the flags there. The wind's still going across the ground, if anything, so a corner from this side is going to have that little bit extra on it in order to compete against the wind. Here comes Janchevsky's corner. A high drifter. Tonkin's there. Oh, flashed across the face and in. And just like the last visit to Perth, it's Dylan Holmes who puts the ball in the back of the net for Adelaide. And after absorbing so much attacking from Perth, it was Tonkin who lashed that volley across, and Dylan Holmes, great technique to reach out and volley in. Adelaide 1, Perth Glory 0. And not a scoreline that too many at Macedonia Park would have expected. You can see what it meant for Dylan Holmes as well. 50 weeks since she last found the back of the net in the A-League Women's, and there's something about Macedonia Park that she likes because she's now scored on her 2 trips to the venue. Career goal number 6 for the 26-year-old. And Adelaide have something to play with. It's the first time this season that the Glory have gone behind in a game. 3 wins from 3 to this point. They hadn't trailed in any of them. So we're going to find something out about the Glory tonight. And Adelaide, winless through their first 3 games, have really come to play out in the West. Ball did cross the line. You wonder what sort of shift in mindset this might lead to for Adelaide as well. They're pretty close to half-time, so they want to seize on the adrenaline that'll be pumping and go for a second, or do they just want to see this out to the break? Bit of a knock to the back of the head of Sakalis. Cosmetic damage rather than anything that requires further attention. Running repairs are done. Here's Holmes, the goal scorer for Adelaide United. Wallace. Good first touch from Janchevski. Straight to Miocic though. Lowry spinning out to the left flank for the Glory. Anton putting the big strides, and so did Toland. No one's taking a backward step out there. We're into the last minute of regulation in this first half. Bit of consternation here. Assistant referee flagging one way. Central referee comes over the top and points in the direction of the home team. Fourth official Shane Skinner coming into play, peacemaker as well. He's about to hoist the board and show us how many minutes of stoppage time there will be at the end of this first half. Of course, don't forget it's a bumper weekend of A-League Women's. 4 games tomorrow, all starting at 2 p.m. on 10 play in Paramount Plus. 2 additional minutes to go in this first half. Can Perth find parity before the break? Cassidy out to the right flank. This is a promising chance. Look at the speed of Rigby. Has got Farrow in the middle, but can't find her. Good goalkeeping to cut off the angle from Grove. Tash Rigby continues to really give Adelaide problems whenever she ventures forward down that right side, but the cross just wasn't on the money that time. Hodgson. Half of the 2-minute stoppage has expired. Glory know that they've only got seconds to play with here. Anton. Underhit pass. Lee, a little bit indecisive and still wins the throw. Sakalis. And now you suspect Adelaide. Well, no, it's a Glory throw. I was going to say they can manage the clock, but instead the Glory have still got 30 seconds. Farrow. Chops the ball back. Adelaide players getting in each other's way. It's helter-skelter. They're not safe to the half-time break just yet. One more possession for Glory. Fonsonkamp balances and plays the pass. Sakalis, clever. Lowry with a left-footed attempt. Good save. Tipped over. And for the second time in this half, it's Hannah Lowry drawing a good save out of Adelaide Grove. Really clever pass from Fonsonkamp. What a good touch from Sakalis. And then the first time shot was met by a firm hand to tip it over. Stoppage time's expired, but Perth will still get to take the corner kick. Fancy this will be the last phase of play before the break. Cassidy's corner, beyond all and sundry in the penalty area. And as it runs through the box, do they get a second chance? Second time ball hooked in. Sasaki heads it away. And Adelaide get that halftime whistle. Well, is the last remaining perfect record in the Liberty A-League about to fall? At halftime, Perth trail for the first time in a game this season. And it's Dylan Holmes who, with her first goal in almost a year back at Macedonia Park, has Adelaide United in the ascendancy. And a number of those former Glory players now wearing Adelaide colours smile at the break. It's Perth Glory 0, Adelaide United 1. At 2:15. And then Melbourne City could come over the top and gazump at 5:45. So this would really compress the ladder and bring the pack right back together if Perth Glory was to lose their record as the last perfect team. As things stand, Melbourne City would be the only undefeated team. But they've picked up a draw already in the season. Bit of a chat going on with the benches and the fourth official. Doesn't look as though either team is making a substitution at half-time, but there's a couple of interesting options on both benches, which we will get to and no doubt see the players in this second half. Intensity was very high for the first 10 or 15 minutes of the first half, and then it was when Perth Glory were actually working back through the gears after about the 35-minute mark that Adelaide were able to respond and score against the run of play. Kick-off at the start of the second half then. Adelaide United attacking the left of your screens with a 1-0 advantage thanks to Dylan Holmes' goal with 2 minutes of regulation to go in the first 45. And Perth Glory, who came into tonight knowing that a win would guarantee them top spot in the Liberty A-League for another week, trail for the first time in a game this season. We are about to learn quite a bit about what this team is made of. Long ball here from Cowart to Jale. Chris Jale cutting back in, showed the ball too much to Zoe Toland, who clears to the safety of the line. Throw-in comes from Liz Anton, and now Farrow, the chance to take possession as Tonkin chases. Farrow backtracking. Hannah Lowry, 2 shots on target in the first half. Went to ground here, and the referee watching on, George Ghirardello. Not interested in paying a free kick. You see the stand is more or less full for the Glory, and we've had some spectators milling around on the hill at the right of your screen. Maybe they'll find their voices here for the home team in the second half. Right now, it's a busy first 90 seconds with Glory deep in attack. We've got a player down, though, for Perth. And it's Millie Farrow, the Englishwoman, who might need the trainer to make the long jog all the way across to the opposite side of the pitch here. What's the outcome? Farrow's up under her own steam, but not before the trainer has been summoned. So the 27-year-old, who was leading the league in assists coming into this weekend with 3, was able to jog off with what looks like only a minor knock to the left ankle. Was most recently in the NWSL with the North Carolina Courage. has played in both the Women's Championship and also the WSL over the course of a lengthy career with a number of clubs: Chelsea, Bristol City, Reading, Leicester City, Crystal Palace. And coming to Australia off the back of that short contract with North Carolina Courage. And what's going on here? Farrow hasn't left the pitch. Let's have another look. Top right of your screen. Farrow just starts stretching. Clearly has a problem with the ankle. And heads up play from Liz Anton not to throw the ball in while one of her teammates was down. And I think this is going to be a technical yellow card here for not following the correct protocol, leaving the field of play. So Farrow picks up the first booking of the game. And even though she looks health-wise fine to continue, she will have to watch out now that she's on a yellow card. Perth Glory attacking with 10 players in the meantime, chasing an equaliser. Farrow's back on right into the mix as Adelaide concede a corner kick. And even though it's only A-League Women's game number 4, they've entrusted 19-year-old Georgia Cassidy with all the corner-taking duty so far in this game. You can see how they're trying to crowd the Adelaide 6-yard box here. Cassidy hangs it high, falls at the far post. Lowry with a header. It was an uncontested header, but it balloons back across the face of goal rather than challenge the target. And the best chance of the second half comes just 4 minutes in. Here's another look. Cassidy's corner, and it just needed a bit more shape right next to the post, but instead it exploded away. A let-off for Adelaide. And there were a few in the first half too, but the scoreboard tells the story for now. Here's Blake to Janchevsky, the ex-Perth duo, up against their former side for the first time. Perth happy to consolidate possession. Lowry had that chance a moment ago. Long ball here. Waldersmith read it in the air. Fonts on Cam. It sits up for the tap-in. Jale! It's there for the Glory. The equaliser comes early in the second half. And Grace Jale, well, she's all business. Not exactly an outpouring of emotion. Plenty of the teammates are happy. The Glory are level. It was a long ball. Walters just didn't quite read it right. Fonts on Cam was first to respond, and Farrow got out of the way of her teammate. If anything, Grove makes the save, and then it just squeaks over the line. I think you'd be Ebenezer Scrooge to take it off Grace Jale and say it's an own goal for the keeper. And if we're giving it to Jale, it's 3 goals in 4 games for the New Zealand international to start the season. Glory went behind for the first time. They equalise in a game for the first time. And now we are poised for what should be a fantastic second half with the game back level at 1-1. And whatever the halftime team talk was for Adrian Stenter in Adelaide, well, the team is going to have to dig deep and look to go and try and take the lead and win this game again. Perth Glory, they've got the momentum behind them, the home ground advantage. Here's Farrow. Just picked herself up and dusted herself off from the ankle problem a minute ago, and now she's trying to fashion a shot. Ended up missing the target, but Farrow's getting closer. Had a couple of chances in the first half. Is still hungry for that first goal for the new fan base in Australia. And Fonts on Cam, just like the previous move that led to the goal, integral in the build-up. Sasaki being closed down here. Was so good in the first half, Nanako Sasaki, but she's got a target on her back here for the Perth Glory press in the second 45. Confirmation of that Millie Farrow yellow card, which was issued before the goal as well. Only one of the games so far. Cassidy. Look at this space for Sakalis to work into. Jale making a run off the ball. Knocks it back and uses the support of Anton. Jale trying to turn provider this time. Waldus up for the header. Farrow in a show of strength here. Farrow, and ultimately it's Grove who collapses onto the loose ball. Just like the first half, the tempo's high. Both teams are pressing aggressively, playing riskier passes to try and get through the press and break into the open space. Adelaide's turn to look for a defence splitter, but it's read like a book there by Cowart. Springing out onto Sasaki's pass and looking to return it with interest. Cowart. Both teams haggling that it's their throw, and Adelaide get the decision. Farrow trying to make things awkward here for Tonkin. It's out for a goal kick. I think some of the home support were trying to convince the assistant referee that it was a corner, but Adelaide get the nod. Wallace to Hodgson. Rigby sensing the opportunity to press forward. Morgan given away. Anton for the glory. And Tolland had position on Jale on this occasion. Tonkin. Now Waldus. The Perth Glory press trying to close all the gaps, but that's well worked by Sasaki. And now Hodgson can take 25, 30 metres more into the attacking half goes Emily Hodgson. Janchevsky. And everything slows down just a little for Adelaide. Perth Glory with their midfield and their defence set. Adelaide forced to go backwards in the end and reset. 10 second half minutes have ticked by. Ella Tonkin. Now Zoe Tolland. Farrow's a lone hand pressing at the moment, but now Jale gets interested, and up comes the Perth midfield. Red alert for Adelaide, and the ball is won away by the Glory. Oh, and then gifted straight back. Fonson Cam relaxed and missed the pass. Janchevsky trying to make the most of it for Adelaide and just furrowing forward. That pass to no one in particular. You see the total shot count. Glory well ahead on that score, but Adelaide, one good shot here and they can retake the lead. Holmes was trying to turn provider for Mariah Lee. Glory defence have to scramble away. And again, the aggressive pressing means you're only one mistake, one bad pass away from really opening the door to the other team to have a dangerous attacking chance. And Holmes here couldn't quite wait it to the advantage of Lee, and Claudia Miocic was there to sweep through. Blake on the turn. Still Hannah Blake. Sarah Morgan. Now popped over to Hodgson. I want that natural right foot. Turns and plays the cross. It's going to sit up at the back post here. Oh, and the cut back instead of the shot on the tight angle. And then it's fired over the bar. Well, Adelaide, maybe a bit of indecisiveness there with neither player wanting to take the shot in the end. Initially, it was Blake who went for the cut back instead of the shot on the tight angle. And then it was skied. There was a chance for Dylan Holmes to score a second, but not to be. Adelaide looking dangerous again, though. Lee trying to roll Lowry at the edge of the box. And wins a corner for her trouble. Well, the Perth Ball kids maybe not as friendly with Alana Janchevsky this season as they were last. Eventually, there's a spare ball that's found out to the corner. And Janchevsky not wasting any time at all. Sasaki on the tight angle, and it was always rising. Nanako Sasaki, for all the talent, just the 2 lead goals. Stretching back to Adelaide's elimination final in March of 2022. And so that miss there, always rising. Fonsonke. Lowry to Rigby. Jale, a blind turn and pass, was just going on the voice rather than having a look, and Adelaide will take over, albeit briefly. Jale, keen to make amends, goes in and wins the ball back, and then uses the referee as a very effective screen just to get a little bit of separation off Sarah Morgan. As we approach the hour mark, who will be the first to make a substitution? Perth Glory have got a homegrown hero, Tia Stonehill, Philippines international Quinley Quezada, the Australian journeywoman midfielder Isabel Dalton, and another young defender in Grace Johnson. Of their outfielders available to them. Adelaide, Rosetta Taylor, another journeywoman forward. Isabel Hodgson, the club captain, who's been on the comeback trail from injury. Jenna Holtz, the American defender. Here's the shot. Lowry is at third time lucky. Not able to hit the target on this occasion. Third long shot of the game. 2 of them have tested the keeper. That one goes high. And we've talked it into existence. Adelaide are turning to the bench, and it will be the American Jenna Holtz who's coming on. And also the dual Australia-New Zealand citizen who's been living in Spain and England for the last 8 years, Rosetta Taylor. Marushka Wallis is coming off. She's had a delayed introduction to the season, coming back to full fitness, so maybe 60 minutes was the limit tonight. Certainly changes the size profile of the Adelaide defence with Wallis no longer there. I'll have to take a look at who shuffles where as a result. It looks as though Tolland, who has been trusted at centre-back at times this season, is going to slot in and play there once again. Rosetta Taylor comes on as well. Big collision here next to the sideline. And it's actually a couple of very good friends, Alana Janchevsky and Claudia Miocic. And a yellow card as well for Alana Janchevsky. And even though Nanako Sasaki has been a delight to watch in this game, again, she might be on a minutes limit because she's the other player subbed out. Here we go. These two were playing their club football as teammates at the Bulleen Lions in Melbourne over winter. They did not take a backward step, careering into each other there. It'll be all smiles at full time. For now, they remain combatants. And so, what changes for Adelaide now without Sasaki out there? Because she was pulling the strings in that first half. It's a great chance for Rosetta Taylor maybe to make a statement about her standing in this league. It's only appearance number 4. The number 9 knocked off the ball here by Lowry. Miocic combining with Cassidy, and now Cowett. Cowett switching flanks out to the left. Anton struggling to bring the ball under control. Now Morgan for Adelaide, but gives it away straight to Farrow. Millie Farrow, lone-handed attack. Lots of white shirts between her and the target, so Fonsong Cam comes in to help out. Now the cut back to Lowry. Sophia Sakalis, cleverly worked. Fonsong Cam jags away from Janchevsky. Got to be careful here, Janchevsky. No full-blooded shout for a penalty kick. Adelaide able to get it out of their defensive penalty area, but the defending is far from done. Rigby getting forward now. A probing cross. Jale. It sits up for Jale. Maybe wasn't expecting the ball to get to her. And out comes the slide challenge from the most recent sub in Jenna Holtz to find the safety of the line for Adelaide. Here's another look. Rigby got forward. And Jale there, the first touch just wasn't there when she really needed it. And yet the lunge was still enough to have Adelaide scrambling. Here's Miocic right into the middle of the Adelaide defence, but all they can do is present the ball back to the Perth midfield. Sweeping pass into the midfield. What a good first touch from Fonsson-Cam. Slides it through the right. Rigby bombing forward. And all of that momentum to get into a position to play the cross results in it exploding off the boots. That was just silk from Susan Fonsson-Cam there, though. Here's another look. Great first touch. Knew exactly where Rigby was making the run. Just didn't have the finesse on that cross. Taylor makes good position here. The Adelaide sub, Rosetta Taylor, out into open space for Emily Hodgson, who's making a run for Adelaide off the ball for her, though. In the end, just plays it straight into Lowry. Janchevski. Now Hodgson, the defender staying forward. Trying to take on Miocic. And even though she's defending from the front, it will be a goal kick. So still plenty of energy in Adelaide's play, but the cohesion after that double sub still needs to be there in order to turn it into a meaningful attempt on goal at the end of all the hard work. Clever from Farrow, rolled away. Dylan Holmes, shoulder to shoulder, won the ball back for Adelaide. And now they can turn and go. Holmes sets a task for Lee, out on the right. Two in the middle for Lee. And just really a hit and hope of a cross. Rigby clears it away. Jale coming very deep to help out the midfield. Tolan, look at the commando crawl there from Millie Farrow to recover and make a play at the ball. Right in front of the Perth bench, that's the sort of thing the coaches will love, because Farrow has bounced back up and Toland has got goal side. Good defending. Sarah Morgan, you see the head check around the pitch. Who's open for me? Rosetta Taylor was the answer. And now Lee. Taylor making a run. Lee decides to tuck it back into the midfield, and now Adelaide have to find a way through the Glory midfield and defence. Both lines very close together, as you can see. Blake to Holmes. Holmes again engages a couple of midfielders and finds Sarah Morgan, thinking about a long shot. Morgan, it's just a drifter though. And easily held onto by Morgan Aquino. Sarah Morgan coming off a fantastic winter with the Northwest Sydney Spirit in the New South Wales NPL. She is actually a former Glory player. Adelaide United, her fourth club that she's played for in what is still only an 18-game A-League women's career. Stints at Wanderers and Canberra as well over the journey. But she's arguably in the best form of her career coming into this season, the 22-year-old. Here's Janchevski. Clever, able to win a throw, keeps the ball moving for Adelaide. Blake, in a show of strength here against Miocic. And again, Adelaide get the nod. We're going to see another change. Quinley Quezada, the Philippines international, coming on for her second appearance. And it's also going to be Grace Johnston coming on here as well. Double change for the Perth Glory. Sophia Sakalis, very busy in midfield, in that attacking midfield role so far tonight. On comes Quezada. And we're also going to see the young defender Claudia Miocic come off and be replaced by Johnston, who's gone in at left back. And so Liz Anton has tucked into centre back. Tash Rigby stays at right back next to Jessica Cowett. And it's a new look Glory defence then for the last 25 minutes or so. Adelaide trying to test it immediately. Perth Glory trying to break out of their defensive half. So there's confirmation of the change. Quinley Quezada comes on for Sophia Sakalis. And the new look Glory backline is Grace Johnston at left back. Liz Anton now playing next to Jessica Cowett in the middle. And Tash Rigby, the captain, remains at right back. Anton. Doubling back here. Hannah Blake trying to anticipate a chance to win the ball off her. Aquino's got to be precise with the pass, and that's exactly what it was to Lowry. Cassidy from deep on the left. Jale off the chest, trying to roll past Tonkin, and that is good one-on-one strength from Tonkin to win the duel. Hard fell here from Mariah Lee on the newly introduced Quinley Quezada. Will allow Perth to stay down in their attacking third. Quezada, who was most recently playing her club football in Serbia. Seen her off the bench just the once so far this season in the game against Newcastle. This is first of the ball here, winning that free kick. And Susan Fonsonkamp with two in the wall on a tight angle here. Has Grace Jale to aim for in the penalty area, amongst others. Is this Perth's moment to take the lead? Fonsonkamp too close to the keeper, and Annalie Grove safe as houses. See the foul count there. It was 10 at half-time, so 25 minutes of second half football, only 3 fouls committed in the second half. There's been a couple of cards issued now, but for the most part it has been a good clean game. Here's Cassidy with a long ball over the top for the Glory. Rigby had stayed forward. Farrow first to respond. Millie Farrow jagging central. Oh, and the ball took an unkind deflection. Adelaide win it away. Mariah Lee off and racing. Farrow desperate to try and get back to make amends. Lee with a pot shot. And falling off balance, was not able to keep it down. Mariah Lee, who, like so many of the Adelaide attackers, was able to score in the 4-all draw against Canterbury United in round 1, is hoping to avoid 3 consecutive games without finding the back of the net here tonight. Perth having to really slow it down here. Not for the first time I think we've seen a team defend with the ball. Now it livens back up. Just a long, hopeful ball that Jale is going to at least make a little bit awkward for Zoe Tolland, at least before the offside flag goes up. Here's Hodgson. Farrow is going to press right up to the keeper now. Grove, the confidence to sidestep. Sends the ball out to the right. And Adelaide, in the blink of an eye, 2 passes have turned defence into attack, but only briefly. Here's Jessica Cowett. Cassidy knew that pressure was coming from Morgan. Was able to cool things down. Back to Liz Anton. Cowart. Now Lowry. Lowry again, calling for the ball, demanding the ball, wanting that responsibility to drive Perth Glory forward. Fantastic from the young player. And now Rigby from deep on the right. And so many crosses tonight have just honed in on the keeper. Haven't really been able to ask a proper question of the Adelaide United defence. Credit to Annalie Grove for being able to hold the catch every time it's come in. Glory might feel as though they could have done a bit more, though. Still got plenty of time to sharpen and hone in on the target. There's the total crossing numbers. Very much a preferred method of attack from both teams to go from wide, and that's exactly what Perth are doing here with the youngster Johnston, but just got a little tangled there. Goes back in and challenges Holtz, trying to win the ball away. Will it sit up kindly for Farrow? Breaking out of defence comes Tolland. And now Adelaide can look to counter, or will they? Good central defending from Anton to step out. Fonsong Cam. Rigby, still full of energy. Tash Rigby bending in across this time. And it clears the heads of all in the 6-yard box. Jolly out the back on the left. Johnston. Composure from the youngster Johnston, but it's repelled away once more. Blake. Spinning back and playing the pass. Holtz only as far as Lowry. Anton flips it out to the left, and Jale, first touch was not quite able to open up to create a shot. Perth remain in possession for now, but Adelaide, well, if they can play their way out of this jam, they will have done well. Dylan Holmes, a slaloming run, and is going to continue here. Blake to shouts of top speed coming from the sidelines. Tolland. Taylor, a deflected pass, still finds its target in Holmes. Holtz to Lee. The American duo linking up. And then Adelaide forced to go backwards, and things do slow down just a little. So they couldn't quite find the right gap or the right pass to break into the attacking third. And now, as things slow down, it becomes a game of chess here to pick the lock rather than breaking out into open space. "15 minutes of regulation to go. Adelaide, as things stand, would still be winless. Perth would lose their perfect record, but would still be unbeaten. You see possession there is almost balanced out completely in this second half. Adelaide ticking over more than 60 in the first 45, but Perth have been able to just about square it away here in the second. And Alex Parker's pointing, shouting, gesticulating as his team tries to align its defence, and Tash Rigby ultimately, well, you can see the frustration of Tash Rigby there because everyone's got a pause. We see a sub. Millie Farrow comes off. Isabel Dalton comes on, the Australian who's been away playing in England. And we also see Adelaide making a change. Alani Anchevsky, no goal for her in a meeting against her former club, Perth Glory. And so on comes Isabel Hodgson. For those of you who've been watching from the start, the unrelated Hodgsons, Emily and Isabel, on the pitch at the same time. Means we will go with the first name, last name in order to differentiate the two. Confirmation of that change for Adelaide. Alani Anchevsky leaves the game. Her corner was integral to putting Adelaide into that 1-0 half-time lead. And also Millie Farrow, who's still looking for that first goal. A couple of close calls tonight. You feel as though she won't be waiting too much longer. Isabel Dalton on for a late cameo. Good, strong work by Blake. Now the fresh legs of Hodgson, who's been deployed as a forward. That's Isabel. Here's Emily coming through on the follow-up. Not able to link up on that occasion. Anton. Lowry. Braced for contact, rolled with it, and was able to open up the midfield and send it out left. Here goes Johnston. Has to decelerate as challenges come in, and the American combination of Lee and Holtz does its work once again. Blake is really starting to become prominent in the game here. Hannah Blake sends it out to the left. Isabel Hodgson tries for the 1-2 with Taylor. Still Izzy Hodgson. He's got a couple of defenders for company. Back to Emily Hodgson. Square ball here. Taylor. Morgan. Who is going to take the responsibility of shooting for Adelaide? Mariah Lee. Back to Dylan Holmes. They're passing it around the top of the penalty area, but can they manufacture a shot? Nicely done by Izzy Hodgson to Emily Hodgson. A cross that slides along the top of the penalty area. Holmes once again. Blake. It's a long string of passes for Adelaide. Now everything slows down over on the right-hand side. Perth just can't get the ball back at the moment. Rosetta Taylor ultimately shows too much of it to Cowart, and spectacular challenge there that sent a boot flying off, and Jessica Cowart can see the funny side of it at least. And Rosetta Taylor ultimately was the link in the chain that broke for Adelaide after that long string of passes. And you see there that very physical challenge that ultimately knocked the boot off the foot of Jessica Cowart. So that gives everyone a breather with just over 10 minutes of regulation to go. Jessica Cowart, who's been one of the reasons this Perth Glory defence has been such a success so far in the season, but they'll feel as though they've left points on the table if they can't break through and grab a winner. Never mind if Adelaide are able to themselves rise to the occasion and win with a late goal of their own. Rigby. Given away. An opportunity for Izzy Hodgson. Lee has to stop and go backwards though. Tolland. Morgan caught in possession by Fonsoncam. Cassidy. It's a foot race, and winning that foot race is Holtz. Turns it around the corner for Holmes. Adelaide not out of danger just yet though. Grove, a shallow clearance. Up comes Rigby. And it's a pile-up of bodies. Adelaide get the decision. Advantage going their way. Hannah Blake. Still got the Perth Glory defence to deal with. Blake is going to shoot from distance. Perhaps thinking about the spectacular goal she scored against Melbourne City to that end of Macedonia Park last season. On that occasion, not able to strike it as sweetly as was needed. Crossfield pass was a little telegraphed, allowed Rigby to steal in. Fonsoncam. Dalton. Larry was trying to spin away from Tolland, but ultimately fell off the ball. Dalton leans into the header. Morgan. Now Lee. Long ball from Emily Hodgson, but picked off by Anton. Morgan to Lee. Neat passing triangle from Adelaide. Blake out into open space. But the ball is not going at breakneck speed just yet. And again, Adelaide have to turn around and reset. Adelaide led late in the first half. Perth 7 shots on target. Hannah Lowry responsible for a couple of those, but they haven't got her back in a goal-scoring position in this second 45. The equaliser ultimately coming from their main attacking target, Grace Jarley. Bit of a risky pass here across the defence. Anton is a cool head. Goes back to Aquino. Cassidy. Dalton caught in possession. Adelaide, their turn to try and capitalise here. Oh, and Morgan caught in two minds maybe between a long shot and the pass to Blake. And ultimately yielded possession back to the Glory. And now they are looking to punish down the left flank. Fresh legs of the sub, Grace Johnston. Backs herself here, drops the shoulder into the middle. And not able quite to link up with Quezada. Perth get another chance though. Fonsong Cam. Well, good one-on-one defending by Holtz. Jenna Holtz, who is an import player for Adelaide, has been moved from a starter to the bench in recent games, out there with a point to prove. And we're going to see Annie Haffenden come on now for Adelaide United. She can be deployed in midfield. Normally a defender, at least that's where she's played primarily for the Brisbane Roar previously. But based on this substitution, she's coming on for Mariah Lee. So that's an attacker off for a player that is nominally a central defender. So let's see if this leads to a bit of a position reshuffle, or maybe Annabelle Haffenden is going to be thrown a little bit further forward than we're used to seeing. First responsibility is for Adelaide to get out of defence. Confirmation of the change. Mariah Lee, nothing left in the tank. 84 minutes of hard running. And it means that Adelaide have brought on all 4 of their outfield substitute options. Glory still have Tia Stonehill, the forward, who was WA NPL Women's Player of the Year. Should they want one more attacking option? Jarley bumped out of the way. Haffenden makes an immediate impact. And the cries to the referee went unheeded. Trying to cut in from the right, Blake only succeeded in offering the ball up to Dalton. 5 minutes of regulation to go. Will we get a winner? Adelaide is still playing like a team with real belief. It's been such a character change from some of those moments where they lacked confidence in the first. Well, not so much the first game of the season, but definitely in rounds 2 and 3. A loss at home to the Mariners, a loss away to the Victory. They don't want it to be 3 in a row. Glory, though, danger here. Fonsong Cam, a little shake of the hips, and a goal for the Glory! What a season Susan Fonsong Cam is having! Magical movement, jinking into the penalty area. And Susan Fonsong Cam, 3rd goal of the season. This one might be the pick of the bunch. Just made the defenders disappear and was able to slot it beyond Annalie Grove to make it Glory 2, Adelaide 1. Got the better of Holtz and Holmes and then was able to tuck away the finish. And look at it right there. Was able to just make the defence fall out of the way. And Susan Fonsong Cam might be the Glory's hero. And I know that Teresa Polias, the former Matilda, has spoken so highly of Susan Fonsong Cam on Dub Zone. The former teammate of Susan, who has spoken about her battle with injuries, her battle for consistency. She has been consistently excellent so far this season, and that might be another match-winning goal. Scored the first in a 2-0 win against Western United, scored the only goal against Newcastle, and now puts Perth Glory in front here with just 3 minutes of regulation to go against Adelaide. Perth are going to make a sub, and it's Susan Fonsong-Cam who is going to get one last ovation from the crowd as Tia Stonehill comes on. And it's high fives on the bench. Stonehill will be able to bring on some ability to defend from the front. And Fonsong-Cam had one last moment of magic in the boots, and look at the embrace from Sophia Sakalis on the sidelines. Glory will be guaranteed to finish the weekend top of the league if this scoreline holds. Down the right end as far as Perth are concerned, Adelaide. What's their response? They've already made all 4 substitutions of their available outfield players. If they're going to grab an equaliser, this combination has to do it for them. Great to hear the Glory fans chanting the name of Susan Fonsong-Cam. And you got to think that word's going to get out about this team. Hopefully it draws more fans through the gates for Perth home games. More support off the back of both the World Cup and also the Liberty A-League Pass, which has allowed so many youngsters to get into games for free. Coward. Back pass here is just going to lure Morgan Aquino out of her penalty area. And plays the pass to Anton. And Rigby, even though she's lunging at full stretch, can't keep the ball in. A little window for Adelaide, perhaps. Jessica Cowart slams it shut, just boots the ball away. How many minutes of stoppage will there be? We haven't really had any significant delays. There's been 2 goals. All of the subs took place in a fairly procedural manner. Only really had one brief delay for an injury, which led to Millie Farrow being treated but also booked for a technical infringement, leaving the field. Here's Stonehill, the most recent sub. A third for Glory, and you can call it a night. Quezada. Here's Dalton. A long shot took a deflection. Plenty of time for Adelaide. 5 minutes to try and dig deep for one more goal. Perth Glory, you wouldn't think they'd take it down to the corner just yet. It's a long time to wind off the clock. However, that's where Stonehill was heading. Perhaps not by design, though. Adelaide need a couple of winners in midfield just to drive them end to end here. Morgan, really good control. Holmes bumped off the ball. He's trying to go back and win it for Adelaide. Rigby, long pass. Flags up on Jale. Did look like she was coming back from an offside position. There's been quite a few offsides in the game. It's trapped the Glory a couple of times in this second half. Alex Apakis watching his team, still riding every kick of the ball. This is a Glory team that when he took them over, they endured a winless season. Now they are on the verge of winning their first 4 games in a row. Emily Hodgson. Looking for an option, tries to break around Lowry. Scoops across, edge of the box. It might run on kindly off the head of Taylor, but ultimately it's to the advantage of the keeper. If anything, the wind has swung around a bit and is starting to favour the end. The Glory are attacking. No better home ground advantage than to come home with the wind at your backs. especially when you're looking to just drive the ball down the pitch and keep it at your end. Tolland backtracking here. Groves on for the back pass. And now Morgan. Adelaide needs some open field to break into, though. Holtz. Good closing down there by the Glory. Young Johnston was the one who made the tackle. Adelaide have to concede 25 metres, go backwards. And now look to the left flank. Can they create one more big chance? One more look at goal, just to make the Glory really worry at the end of the night. 3 of the 5 additional minutes have ticked by. Blake. In the corner with it all to do. And the Perth players thought it went out. The assistant referee down in the opposite half agrees. Adrian Stenter, a rueful shake of the head. Adelaide can still try to trap Perth in. Jale flicks over the shoulder. Emily Hodgson, now Hannah Blake, trying to keep the ball glued to her feet here. Blake, and the left-footed shot is hooked away. Johnston to the edge of the box, and the follow-up, well, it's a tired attempt from Sarah Morgan. But they're still on here, Adelaide. They were able to get a shot clear. It just didn't have the juice behind it. So we tick down to the final minute of the allocated 5. Emily Hodgson's cross, bending away from the target. Tough ball to play, and through comes Quezada for the Glory. Tonkin. Adelaide running out of chances. But they've got to be clean. They've got to connect the passes. They've got to make it all work here with limited chances to get it right. 30 seconds to go when this throw-in is taken. Emily Hodgson up to Izzy Hodgson, who's trying to roll her marker. Got the shot away, but it bends the wrong way. Not done with yet. Holtz trying to make amends and sends it over the target. And Jenna Holtz, who was the defender that Susan Fonsong-Cam skipped around at the other end, nearly came down for Adelaide and grabbed them a share of the points, but the shot just kept rising. And that might be that. Liz Anton is down. It's going to take the game into stoppage time. Well, beyond the allocated 5 minutes, I should say, of stoppage time. Now it's all on the generosity of the referee from here. Liz Anton cramping badly. And the trainer's going to be called out. Well, you can see a bit of a smile, a bit of a grimace from Liz Anton. Well, nothing about this is deliberate. That's not gamesmanship. That's just a taxing 95 minutes of work, and the trainer ultimately stayed on the sideline. Anton is trying to jog it off. Will there even be enough time for Adelaide to go forward one more time? Quezada commits the foul. And there will be a free kick here. Now it's Morgan's turn to cramp. And they're desperately trying to get the lactic acid moving because they need Sarah Morgan up in order to send the ball forward here. We've got a minute beyond the allocated 5. One last hurrah for Adelaide. Can they grab a late equaliser? Can they spoil Perth's party at the very last second? Dylan Holmes, long, hopeful ball. Will it slide kindly? Glory shirts congregate around the ball. It's driven away. And yet, the full-time whistle hasn't arrived just yet. Glory in possession, though. Jale. Now she's looking proppy, too. We've got multi-ball going. Who's going to take the throw-in? Holtz down the line. Taylor knocked away. Still we continue. Almost 7 minutes of stoppage gone now. Oh, Perth will be ropeable if they concede here. Can Adelaide pull off the late show? Ball at the byline. Do they win a corner? They do. Will they be allowed to take it? They will. Everyone's got to hustle. All hands on the pump for the Glory. This would be an absolute heist if Adelaide can equalise here. Dylan Holmes, who put Adelaide in front back in the first half, needs the perfect corner here. It's low, sliding, cleared away from the near post. Second time ball, played in by Holmes. And Perth repel once again as they clear their lines. It's 4 from 4 for the Perth Glory. They went behind for the first time in a game this season. They answered the challenge and came back to win, and that's what it means to this Perth Glory team. Susan Fonson-Cam is the hero. A brilliant individual goal. And Adelaide, who were hoping to break through for their first win, instead find themselves winless in 4. Grace Jale grabbed the equaliser at the start of the second half, cancelling out Dylan Holmes' opener. And then Susan Fonson-Cam. Expect plenty more chat about the season she's having, winning the game for Perth. It finishes at Macedonia Park. Perth Glory 2, Adelaide United 1.